I'm a little bummed out that Morph made this video before I did. I was totally planning on making it in a couple days. Uh, I just wanted a bit more information on it before I made the video, and we got that information just a couple days ago on SCL with Todd Pappy on what their intentions were for these things. But this video is titled "Treasure Hunting in Star Citizen." Once again from Morphologis.
The vast landscapes of Star Citizen's microtech have played subject to countless beautifully framed videos and screenshots since its launch over 2 years ago.
Of course.
Like many other locations in Star Citizen, there has been little content to find beyond its breathtaking vistas. Star Citizen's latest patch, though, 3.17.2, sets out to begin changing that with the introduction of derelict outposts. While they're not the first points of interest to make their way into the verse, they are the first to hide secrets that we are only now just beginning to discover that are in some way tied to the lore of Star Citizen. So, take a step out into the unknown with me, Star.
Why does he say vistas? That is an interesting. I mean, maybe because I think he's from the Midwest. Maybe that's a thing. In the Northeast we say vistas.
Citizens, as I take you through a brief adventure
to
one of these new locations, where I'll give you some advice on how you might find ultra-rare artifacts like this mostly intact Hadesian remnant or this 600-year-old Earth Unification war medal. But don't forget to bring some armor and maybe a weapon, because you won't be alone out there. Afterward,
he had them actually leave the ship.
To continue on with your own adventures.
I still haven't.
With the sponsor of today's video, Audible. Being a YouTuber/streamer, making videos like these while designing homes on the side after my day job doing architecture, I hardly have any time to really sit down and read anymore. So Audible helps me escape some of the stress of all that work while I'm on the way to work or while I'm working out with amazing audiobooks like the Stormlight series by
Morph. You can't be a gamer and work out. It's not allowed.
And Sanderson. Well, I've already moved on to the Wheel of Time audiobook series. It's still stuck with me as one of my favorite series of all time. So if you want to check out stuff like that, head on over to audible.com/morphologis and use code Morphologis or text Morphologis to 500-500 to get the first book in the series, The Way of Kings, for free and start your 30-day free Audible membership trial. If the Stormlight audiobook series isn't for you, though, you can always check out any number of their other fantastic audiobooks like the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, or maybe even The Expanse, with the 1 credit you'll get towards any audiobook you want every month as a member. So if you want to listen...
So I think the last time Morph had an Audible sponsorship on one of his videos, I said I was going to get it. I still haven't yet. Morph, I mean, I drive an hour to work every day. And then, like, you know, 2 YouTube channels, a Twitch stream, a wife, I play ice hockey. Like, I don't have time to do anything, right? And I'm not good at reading. I think the United States education system kind of failed me in a lot of ways. I probably shouldn't have passed the 5th grade. And now here I am struggling with these things, or I have some level of dyslexia. Who knows? I've never been, like, diagnosed or anything. I think people say they're dyslexic when they're not all the time. But I drive an hour to work every day, and I listen to some, like, really stupid podcasts. Like, I listen to a hockey podcast, which is good, but, you know, in the summer, what do I listen to when there's no hockey? I've really wanted to, because not everybody, actually, like, just a couple CIG devs, to be honest, have told me how good the Expanse books are. I was a huge fan of the Expanse series on... I can't even remember where it was first, and obviously on Prime for its second iteration, or I guess Sci-Fi. And I hear the books are just absolutely amazing, and I mean, it would be perfect to just listen to them in the car. I'm absolutely going to use code Morphologis and get this, because it's I don't know why I haven't yet.
And you also want to support the channel, why not give it a try? So there are a couple ways to get to the derelict outpost that you might choose to use. The first is the easiest, which is to wait for a retrieval op mission to appear under the delivery tab of the contract manager.
Yep.
This will task you with going to one of the 5 known locations around Microtech, although there may actually be more. There, you'll need to pick up a box and drop it off at another location, but don't be fooled, that is just the method for you to get there because there's a lot more for you to do and discover while you're there. Alternatively, I know for certain that there are at least 2 outposts near New Babbage within around 50 kilometers of the city center. So
yeah, I've gotten those the most.
Yourselves, you can totally try to do that.
I've never seen this one.
I've not compiled a list though yet of all of their locations. So if you're looking for all of them laid out for you to find without the missions, unfortunately I don't have that for you just yet. And if I did, I might not share it because last time I did something like that, people were kind of upset. All right, so next thing I'd recommend
I'm sorry, Morph, I'm sorry, dude. I think he was, maybe it was his comments too, but I was pretty tilted about the end of one of the missions in 317 too that I hadn't seen yet because I wasn't able to get the mission or it was bugged, and he showed the ending of it.
Is that when you're approaching one of these outposts is that you can take a look at it from above, but you shouldn't park directly next to it, especially if you're flying something the size of a constellation or smaller, because if a dropship does come, which seems to be pretty common, it will get blown up by the turret gunner, and it won't take very much time to do so. You probably won't be able to make it back to your ship in time to save it.
Interesting.
So
I haven't had this experience yet either.
Off on the side of a hill just adjacent to the outpost. That way, I'm certain it'll be safe. One addition.
For me, the turret gunner has like shot at nothing and hasn't really, just like hasn't done anything, sadly.
Additional thing you may consider doing before you go to one of these outposts, just to save yourself some time, is to bring a vehicle like a Cyclone or a hover quad or even a Dragonfly if you've got a smaller vehicle like a Titan. That way you can cover some of this distance in a much shorter time. But one thing you still want to be careful of is when you approach to look out for people in towers like this guy here. I'm sighting in my scope using the page up button and dead on accurate. Now these much longer range scopes actually can be very granular with the zeroing, but the 4x scopes will actually be a little.
Anyone else still think that that is like one of the worst FPS decisions they've ever made? Automatic zeroing? I know we're 1,000 years in the future, but like, that's stupid. That's just downright bad. Exactly. 0 skill required, right? Like, he just hits the page up button. It is perfectly, he just clicks on the head, done, right? I mean, like someone said in chat, Rispin said they have laser rangefinders now. Okay, well, at least have that. I mean, I guess it's part of the thing, but don't like, it's part of the game. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, because it is realistic that would be a thing, because it's kind of a thing now already, which is what Rispin's implying. Feel like it makes the game too easy.
A little bit more broad, like you'll be able to sight in with 100 and 200 meters.
But okay, like maybe we have to get to the point where that's like a mega rare scope that is really hard to find, that needs a lot of reputation, and because we don't have that reputation or anything now, shut up, old man, it's the future, then the game should just play itself.
But not
like,
anywhere in between.
Ah, yes, this beautiful vista.
You know, I've been covering Star Citizen for quite a few years now, and I'm pretty well accustomed to how beautiful it can be, but sometimes I can still be taken aback by just how stunning some of the vistas are.
He said it again. Morph still feels like the new guy in a lot of ways, and he's been around for years. It's crazy.
And they are their own reward, aside from the artifacts that I'm looking for. Speaking of the artifacts, you want to take your time while you're going through all of the ruins, because the boxes that contain the artifacts can be hid just about anywhere, including underneath debris that you can move with a tractor beam tool. But also be diligent to look for baddies hiding in the glass. I just spotted this.
So those metal sheets are there might be a box under those.
Walking around. patrolling, and I barely saw him on my approach. So in the case of this outpost, I got pretty lucky in that there were only 2 pirates walking around and patrolling, but I have encountered up to like 10 at other outposts that I've visited. It seems to be pretty random and perhaps dependent on how many dropships have visited prior to you coming and cleaning it up. So my next recommendation then would be that you approach these outposts pretty cautiously. If you just see a couple, don't assume that those are the only pirates walking around.
I've had a couple, like, you know, poop your pants moments with these guys.
There may be some hidden somewhere, and if you just walk straight into it and expect them not to engage you, you will be sorely surprised because they have improved the pirate behavior as of this latest update. And I have actually been killed by them. So approach it, pick off the ones on the edges, and then slowly make your way inward while you're looking for
There's
the
There's
boxes.
a box up there.
In fact, one of the better things you can do is to completely clear out the area before you actually start looting, because you might think that there's none left, you'll start looting, and then you're gonna get killed. So yeah, just be really, really careful.
Of course, there's so much cover at these locations, and the locations are they don't feel that big from when you're coming down to them, but when you're at them, they're actually quite spread out, and there's a lot of space in between. The grass is quite tall.
Always another possibility that there may be a pirate player walking around, and in those cases, you want to be
there might be a
careful.
greasy Khaleesi around.
If you see another ship landed nearby, that's when you got some warning bells that should be going off to just be very, very, very cautious. But perhaps ask if that person is friendly as you approach. Not that they'll tell you the truth, but it's worth a shot. Here I'm swapping to some of my longer range optics with my P6LR, just sighting out the other area of this derelict outpost, and it doesn't look like there's anybody else here. So I'm pretty confident that I'll be safe to do some looting, and I've already spotted my first box. I'm gonna go check that out quick and see if we've struck gold with some artifacts. Like I said earlier, they're very rare to find, so you're gonna have to do this quite a lot. And I think this is what's
the pristine
really
ones are
exciting
rare
about this new update.
The damaged ones seem quite
kind
common,
of a gameplay loop. If you are interested in finding artifacts with stories behind them, then you're going to keep revisiting these locations, even though they don't necessarily pay very well, because there's loot to be had and the possibility of finding something really, really cool is always there. Plus, these locations are just gorgeous.
So I talked to Morphologis about, as well as a few other people during our charity event the other day. I was like, do you guys like when I react to your videos? And Morph was very vocal about how he did. And it's he enjoys my feedback on whatever he says. And it's always good to get feedback on his video. So he actually says that he appreciates them. One thing that I noticed Morph does, and it's the right thing to do from a YouTuber perspective, is to show the content as soon as possible, right? When people don't know what it is, and inform them about what's going on. I don't think that the art of it. I don't know. I'm in this weird place because there was a lot more information on them, on the artifacts in Star Citizen Live this week, that is implying that Morph might be correct here, but my I guess inclination is that he's wrong, in the sense of, not that he's wrong, I don't want to use the word wrong, we're in the PTU, that it's likely to change the value of the artifacts. So I don't know, maybe I'll overlay this over this section of the video when it goes onto YouTube. I don't have it for you guys watching on Twitch right now, but I have a few screenshots of the value of these items. Maybe Morphologist will put it at the end, but they're 100 credits each, basically. I've seen them like 30, 60 to 100. Like, that's it. It's literally like pennies that these things are worth if you go to sell them to the couple of shops that actually buy them. So from a financial standpoint, these have no value. What we heard on Star Citizen Live was, I don't know if it was Jared hoping that this would be a thing, or if he has some information about how they kind of want it to be. But they want it to be like at least Jared wanted it to be this player run economy for these things. Like Morphologis shows I think the rarest item out of all of these is the pristine artifact. I found one of those as well. Well, I didn't. One of my friends' PC did, and I had it. He showed it, like I was able to hold it or whatever. And we went to go sell it. It was 90 credits. So, is it going to have value in game, or are we going to trade them amongst ourselves? And because in every single MMO that I've played, there are very rare items, and those items' value are determined by the player base. And that's what Jared was implying, not by the shops. And I think that is an incredibly strong and powerful statement that Jared made, because one of the things that scares me the most about Star Citizen is quantum, and is this idea that Tony Z is going to just control everything, and that the game is going to feel like we have no impact on it, and that player to player trading is like not going to be very much of a thing. And that's where these open up something really, really cool for me. And I originally thought, like, wow, 100 credits, this is stupid. Like, when I find a pristine artifact, I should be able to go to a shop and sell that for 500,000 credits, something crazy, right? No. It took for Jared to say it. No. These are things that we should be excited about finding and trading amongst ourselves, right? Like, I don't know, the first example that comes to my mind is RuneScape, like the party hats. Do those sell at any NPC shops in game? I don't know, but they sell for a ton of gold in game. Do they have any real world value to them? No. They're player created value. We need stuff like that in Star Citizen. But why would anyone want artifacts like this? Why would anybody want a party hat, right? It's the fact that, like, you have it. It's rare. So, like, a lot of this makes me feel this is another situation. We had this problem yesterday talking about I forgot, like, logging out and the lack of understanding about, like, how like MMOs have worked over the years. None of those things have value. Like the party, like, it's a Santa hat. Does it really look that cool? The reason it's cool is because it's rare. It's not cool. It's cool because you have it and somebody doesn't. That's what the value of the pristine artifact could and should be. But the fact that I found one and Morphologis found one, and I barely tried, and I imagine he doesn't play the game 24/7, says that the drop rates are maybe too high. So then, these are not going to have any value anyway. But let's continue the video. I've been monologuing about this for 10 minutes, and he's probably going to mention it.
My next major tip for you, and this is just in general for Star Citizen, is to always have a tractor beam tool on hand.
Yeah, you should be able to show it off, and that's the problem with these specific artifacts.
The cargo decks. Otherwise, I think there are a few landing zones that actually sell them in some of the shops. You'll have to keep your eye out for them, but you'll also want the tractor beam attachment. You'll see here that without it, I wouldn't have been easily able to move that box to get up to find this loot box here hiding in the corner. Fortunately, it doesn't have anything exciting in it, but still it might have, and I wouldn't have been able.
Dolovine is exciting, okay? Because you don't have to mine it, because it's so annoying to mine. The fact that it just comes in a box is great.
Get to it without this nice tractor beam, so don't forget that. Next is how you can deal with these dropships that may come in. Good news is that the turret gunner won't shoot at players on the ground. They're only going to shoot at ships and vehicles, so you're pretty safe as it approaches. Don't just stand underneath it, though you might get killed. Once it arrives, it'll unload around 6 pirates who will immediately start attacking you. That's, of course, though, if the server is working well, which in the case of this particular session, it was earlier in the PTU, and so unfortunately, they didn't get out immediately, but they eventually did, and I wasn't expecting it. And so I had to find a high position, which is what I'd recommend you do immediately once it arrives, once this goes to live, so that you're ready to take them out as they run at you. Especially on planets like Microtech,
that's actually pretty cool, because I haven't seen this yet.
And you might not actually see them coming. There's the last one. And finally, of course, before you grab that box to take it and deliver it to complete your mission, don't forget to do a little bit of looting to stock up on some needed supplies, and that's about it. Now, unfortunately, on this run, I wasn't able to come up with any really cool artifacts. But that's just how it goes sometimes, and so I'll be back out there again trying to find some more complete artifacts like the one I found earlier, but maybe even better. Hopefully I can find a fully intact, pristine one to show off. I don't know what this is going to add up to, but I'm interested in finding more about the lore that they're putting into the game. I'm really excited for this kind of gameplay. It's something more than just going and shooting and blowing up ships that just can sometimes feel quite meaningless. Having a real story to explore and find is something that I personally find interesting in the video games that I play, and I hope that you guys do too. So what do you think of this? Are you excited to go out and explore to find some more stuff like this? Have you already gone out and explored and found something even better than what I have? Let me know down in the comment section below. And if you guys like this video and you want to see more.
Okay, so a couple people in chat are saying you may be able to assemble them. Guys, we're playing Star Citizen. You know we're not going to be able to assemble them. You know, like, come on. All right? Like, I'm not even trying to make a funny here. You know this isn't true. Right? Like, come on. It's just they're just items in the game to get you. Like what was said on Star Citizen Live was from Todd Pappy was hard to listen to. What was said from Jared, I appreciated. What Todd Pappy said about these is they were simply put there to sell the location's age. Essentially, a sunset, a screenshot, another visual experience to sell their age. That was it. No gameplay, nothing nothing gameplay related. And that is from the director of the PU. Sorry, guys. Unless he's like purposefully being coy, which I doubt he is, it was just more immersion. That's all it was. What we do with it is what Jared made really exciting. The possibility of us doing that. But guess what? We don't have a player trading window. So it's kind of difficult. It's not like somebody can open a box and I can show them. There's no way for me to display it and say, I will sell you this artifact for 5 million credits, right? Because I found it and you didn't. So, yeah. I don't know. It's something I'm very excited for what the possibilities could be. I guess, yeah, you could show it holding it in your hand. Like Morph did there. But yeah, I don't know, guys. It's something that I'm also very excited for, but it's just not something that is, I think, going to be what we want it to be just yet. But I really hope that, like, you know, what Jared talked about would be a possibility. I mean, we could try. That's all we could do, but there's no marketplace in the game. There's no like, I don't know. This is full imagine, and you know, we'll kind of stop it here, I guess. Wouldn't it be cool if you went to a trade and development division and clicked on a screen and you could set a price? Put your thing up there and sell it, set a price for something. That would be sick. And that's where something like this could really come alive, right? But Squadron 42. So why would we have that?